But it's not the sexy thing to do.
Yeah, you say to you, mate, what have you been working on lately? Oh, technical debt. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Things Reasons. We are the independent show for IT leaders in Australia. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm, of course, Nara McClung. You are?
Jono Staff.
Excellent. Now, we have no guest today because this is a rant cast. It means we're going to have a moan. You're going to sit there and enjoy it, and we're going to sit here and love moaning about certain things. There are, of course, topics we're going to discuss. There was a very famous outage of a household name today in Australia. May or may not have been related to technical debt. Let's talk about that, John.
Why are we still bad at replacing old things that don't work anymore?
I think we inherently like old things. That's where we're going with that. I feel like
we're going to talk about
it. Choice. We're going to talk about technical debt. We're going to talk about vulnerabilities as well. And there's a link here to AI. I think most of our IT leader audience will have seen the Mythos versus Fable versus many patches for the biggest patch Tuesday recently as well in history.
Surely AI is going to make everything better.
Well, listen, I feel like there's a balanced view on that. So here we are. We're going to get stuck into it once again. What on earth have you been up to, Jono?
Mate, the madness never stops.
Right.
Madness never stops. We're full swing into Q1. I know all of our audience is as well.
Yes.
And things are getting crazy. Obviously, I am neck deep in the middle of doing some interesting stuff with WindEC. We're at Adapt this week, and shout out to Adapt. That was a fantastic
Love Adapt. Let's put the
conference.
logo up there. Ding.
Fantastic conference. Had a good time at that. I think everybody showed up really well. Some really interesting stats coming out of that, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Which I think we should get into today. But no surprise, the number one priority from over 2,400 CIOs and IT leaders that were surveyed by Adapt is
artificial intelligence.
You guessed it.
Okay. Excellent.
So, very interesting. But it does make me wonder, what are the things that have moved down the list that probably should be closer to the top?
So if we focus on the shiny good thing that we love, does that mean that we forget about other things?
Look, I don't want to say too much about it, but maybe we can talk about that today.
Okay. Very good. Well, look, pretty busy Q1 for me as well. For those of you on LinkedIn, I apologise. I know I've been plastered all over it with new ventures. Our cloud business expanding into government's very exciting. So very much looking forward to that. That took the best part of 6 months to get that over the line for good reasons, deliberative reasons. Our business is quite deliberative. As you know, there's some interesting characters there that make you jump through hoops for all the right reasons. I'm not complaining.
Not complaining.
But we got it done. And so, that's interesting. I think government's got their own challenges, but they've also got their own needs as well. And suffice to say, AI is on the agenda for government as well.
Look, I think everybody needs some help, Naren, and you're very helpful.
Look, I try to be. You know who you're helping? You're bringing IT back to the worker, man. I love that you're rocking the T-shirt today, and it's the Bonds T-shirt. I have many of those.
It's Friday, and I'm really, I'm just picking up the vibe.
Look, I want you to be comfortable on the podcast, Jono. Okay?
It's important to be comfortable.
I think so.
Okay.
Right? All right,
good.
I'm
glad we pointed that out.
Right. So let's talk about the Telstra outage. Now, we're not here to bash Telstra.
No, we're
not.
not.
What we're about. All right. Now, Telstra, some people love them. Some people have different opinions. That's all good. They had a major outage. It was fairly widespread. It was like 8th of July, 4:30 a.m. And it was a full outage nationwide. 90% of calls were restored. 9 a.m. full recovery by 4 p.m.
Now, I'm a Telstra customer. I did notice it when I woke up. There was some mild panic, although it may come as a surprise to you and our audience that I'm not completely dependent on my phone.
Right.
I just connected to Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Where I was instead.
Well, look, and like you, Jono, if I lost mobile connectivity for a little while, it means I take less calls. It means I get to relax a little bit. However, we do need to be sensitive, obviously, to the 600 plus 000 calls that were affected, and it did impact people.
Well, that's what we should talk about. Obviously, voice calls are still really important.
Yep.
I think there was a bit of a mix of some data outages as well. That probably had more to do with congestion than anything. But this was actually pretty serious. And I know everyone was trying to find their own workarounds and what have you. But when you think about how reliant everybody in the country is on that network, there is a reason that the telecommunications industry is subject to the Security of Critical Infrastructure Act and certain standards, and because there's big implications.
Of course.
And we talk about that a lot in the work that we do with critical infrastructure and being in tech. Certainly you and I and our experience with critical infrastructure.
Yep.
I think we had Vic from Ninja on the pod.
We did. Shout out to Vic.
The other week. And we talked about having a bit of a laugh at it, but also at the same time talking about how serious what the tech industry is involved with.
Yeah, and
like
look,
the implications of getting it wrong.
Indeed, and look, to be fair to Telstra, I mean, you can almost set your clock. You know, you blame Telstra one day, you know, it could be Optus the next, right? And for Telstra, with obviously the biggest mobile coverage nationally, it's tough at the top, right? And so, you know, they do come under scrutiny when these things happen. I think I'm particularly interested, though, in the root cause on this one, which is obviously a key aspect of what we want to talk about today, and that's technical debt. And so when we talk about the root cause, I'm led to believe that we've got a software defect in timekeeping servers, something that had been kicking around, and the manufacturer had warned Telstra since 2022 that it needed to be either updated or replaced.
This is not uncommon. How many of our listeners out there have done their best over the years and over their careers to warn all sorts of people in their organisation about things that need to be resolved. And for whatever reason, they're not able to get that up. Whether it's because it costs money or there's other implications or it's inconvenient or there's other priorities. Everybody in our industry does struggle with not only identifying where some of these issues and risks lie, but actually mitigating them and eventually rectifying them properly.
Well, look, yes, right? And I think everybody listening, I mean, look, Gartner's gone on record to say that 93% of organisations are experiencing a degree of technical debt. 24% of organisations say that they're confident and consistent in their abilities to track technical debt. I mean, that seems like a pretty big problem to me.
Yeah, well, I think it's something also, it's a result of the pace of change in the tech industry.
Right.
Even if you just look at the last 20 odd years that you and I have been doing it, things actually change so fast, it's not hard to accumulate technical debt or have to manage obsolescence. This is a constant thing we're trying to manage. Even with your iPhone, it's built in. Like it just eventually gets slower until you get so angry you buy a new one. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, that's right.
But you have to buy a new one. So this is actually a quite a big issue.
It is a big issue. Look, I mean, curious to get your take on this, but the organisations that I've worked with were acutely aware of their technical debt. They had a broad plan of what they needed to do, but it was a question of prioritisation. It was a question of cost, against also remaining competitive in market as well, right? You're sort of balancing staying liquid, right? Staying positive, and earning money and meeting your customers' needs versus a project that's probably months, if not more, and expensive and time consuming, and it takes prioritization and resource away from other things. I mean, I get it, right? I get why organizations juggle this. But having said that, I feel like the risks are increasing more and more if we think about the adoption of AI, right, and use of tools like Mythos, for example, to accelerate perhaps the exposure of these vulnerabilities.
I couldn't agree more.
Right.
I think it is getting more and more difficult for an organization to get away with sweating these assets.
Yep, exactly.
More and more difficult. We talk about vulnerability management driving this. It didn't used to as much as it does now, right? So your ability to be able to patch something that's obsolete disappears. And if you can't patch it, at least if you think you can get away with it still working, I mean, a Cisco router will run forever. We all know that. That doesn't mean it should.
That's right.
And where you could get away with things before, you can't now because of vulnerabilities and cyber attacks. That is only now accelerating. I think, what was the stat where, was it Mythos? How many vulnerabilities were able to be identified? Like the AI now is able to identify vulnerabilities and exploits at a rate that is, extreme multiples of a human being trying to do it.
Also, recent data points. So 14th of July, biggest patch Tuesday ever for Microsoft. Shout out to Microsoft. 570 vulnerabilities, 3 times the previous record.
And that is largely due to
Mythos.
Mythos specifically,
Yes.
but frontier models identifying,
I believe so.
out there identifying
Allegedly.
vulnerabilities.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, and so look, and then add to that, end-of-life systems accumulate on average 218 new vulnerabilities for every 6 months once the support stops. So this is a problem that compounds, right?
I think just sit with that for a minute.
Right.
And now scale that out over, what did we say, 94% of organizations have identified technical debt in their business.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so, I mean, if you've got infrastructure that is exposed in any way, that's one problem. Maybe you try and ring fence it, maybe you wrap more firewalls around it, you do all sorts of things to try and mitigate risk. But let's face it, if you get breached and there's a lateral movement and there's a bit of legacy kit kicking around, I mean, what are they going to go for first? Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a hard thing for IT leaders. I do feel for the teams that would have been responsible
100%
for this at Telstra, but I do think at the same time, and maybe it's just network engineer Jono looking at this one, it does seem like an own goal.
Yeah, it does. But I wonder how many of those are sitting out there, right, just ready to go pop on any given day. Yep.
Well, I'm sure they'll be paying more attention to it now, obviously.
Yep.
And given the ramifications.
Yep.
I think if open question, if AI is getting better at exploiting vulnerable legacy environments or equipment, just as a general statement, can organizations leverage AI to combat this in some way, shape or form? It's like only 24% of organizations know what to do about their technical debt. Maybe this is not a human problem to solve at scale.
Yeah, I think that's valid, certainly. I mean, I guess there's sort of 2 columns, isn't there? There's the good and the bad, right? So let's see. The tech is helping us to find the vulnerabilities at a record pace. Now the attackers can use the tech for the same reason, right? Now we obviously saw Fable pulled from the global market, which is interesting in its own right. I mean, if you built capability specifically off the back of Fable, maybe if you built agentic systems that needed that faster time to first token type capability, and that was all of a sudden pulled out from underneath you, I'd have to think you'd be pretty annoyed by that, right? That's point number 1. But point number 2, if you can use the tech maybe to help combat your own risks, maybe that's a positive as well. I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah, we're going to get to a point where AI agents are just defending and attacking, and the humans will have nothing left to do. Right,
exactly. I mean, we saw the thing in the news recently about OpenAI's little project, right? The rogue agent that got out of the lab. And
I've seen mixed reports on that. Was it real?
Well, you read the article. So it basically, I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but it was basically, it was an agent that was built to achieve a certain task, and it had to go off and essentially review or work with various frontier models to solve a problem. And it was... The article made it seem like the thing had designs for itself, right? Almost like it was self-aware, and it got on with it and decided to go off and hack something. In reality, it was achieving its task, right? If anything, it reads more like a runaway process where the agent actually was highly effective at doing the thing that it was specifically written to do.
Right.
Right? Absent some controls and some tooling around it.
Okay, so Skynet's not here yet.
No. And like... You've heard me talk at length, and I could spend the next hour talking about why AGI is not going to arrive. In fact, speaking at my son's school about this next week, the reality is that there's a little bit more to intelligence, right, than just the correlation of data points and weights in a model, all right? And so the thing didn't have designs for itself, but it was highly effective at doing the job it was tasked to do, and it did so without any guardrails whatsoever. Whose fault is that?
I'd say maybe the person that...
Right.
That
exactly.
scripted it. This episode is brought to you today by Ninja One. Now, we said we were never going to take anybody's money, Naren,
Here we are.
and here we are. And look, production value like this is not cheap.
No,
Money isn't exactly growing on trees.
no, it's not.
Right, but here's the thing I like about Ninja. They were the only sponsor who was willing to front up and let us say whatever we want.
That says a lot about them.
It says a lot about them. It's about trust.
It is about trust.
It's about trust. And look, for the next 30 seconds, I reckon you need to listen to this because you're going to love it.
And you're not doing anything anyway. All
Yeah,
right? So
what
just
else have you got to
nothing.
do?
Absolutely nothing.
Ninja One unifies IT to simplify work for nearly 40,000 customers in over 140 countries. The Ninja One unified IT operations platform delivers endpoint management, autonomous patching, backup, and remote access in a single console to improve efficiency, increase resilience, and reduce spend. And they're also obsessed with customer success and have held a 98% satisfaction score for more than 5 years. Try Ninja One for free at ninjaone.com/free trial form. Now, speaking of Skynet,
Yes.
Terminator 2 is apparently playing at the cinemas in George Street.
Right.
This is totally random.
Okay.
But now, why?
Stay with us.
Why is that interesting? I remember that was the first movie my dad ever took me to.
Is that
at the
right?
same cinema.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. There you go.
Oh, geez, mate, that wasn't that long ago. What were you doing
Terminator
before
2.
that?
I think it was a long time ago.
Not really.
Terminator 2.
Wasn't that the 90s?
Yeah, that's a long time ago now.
First movie. You're the same. You're younger than me. First, not much, by the way.
It was the early 90s.
Well, the first movie I remember was I saw Never-Ending Story in the cinema the day that my brother was born. How about that?
Wow. I wonder if everyone remembers the first movie they went to see.
Yeah. I'm sure our
It's
IT
weird that
leader
we
audience
do.
are benefiting from this conversation. Okay.
It's Friday.
That's right. But look, Jono, I don't think the Skynet scenario is likely anytime soon. I used to really worry about this, as you know, right? Because we're actively involved in this stuff. I mean, there's hyperscalers in data centers and whatnot. The last thing I want to do is feel somewhat responsible for 60 to 70 jobs being wiped off the market. Hence, I went deep on that. I don't feel like that's going to happen. The tech is here to stay. It's augmenting human beings and, for the most part, helping us out, absent the odd rogue agent that goes off and does its job.
Well, I think, everyone's got mixed opinions on this. And now the Australian government's weighed in.
Yes, they are.
And our Prime Minister has made an announcement about a new special department to deal with this.
I see.
Yeah, talk me through that.
Well, we're talking about, this is the government's AI policy, the Australia Digital Infrastructure Investment Cycle. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, I think so.
I think that's the one.
I think so.
Right.
And so we're going to have a dedicated government agency to bring together policy and industry and government around how should
Yes.
Australia manage the implementation of AI into our economy and into our lives.
Yep.
Quite interesting.
It is interesting.
I think he sort of the analogy he used was the last time the government got involved in this was with aviation. At this kind of scale,
Right.
and I think there's mixed opinions about what it's going to do. Is it going to slow us down? Is it going to keep us safer? Is it going to make things better?
Yes.
For me, I think at the very least, it's important to be thinking about this from a government perspective when we talk about our sovereignty.
Yes.
Our sovereignty.
That's a key word, isn't it?
The best, and what does that mean means lots of things to different people. But in this scenario, I look at practical examples. If you've built your business around a particular frontier model that is owned by another country,
Yep.
and then it disappears,
Yep.
or they decide to triple the price.
Yep.
These things are important considerations.
They are.
And what does it mean for an Australian organisation to be able to leverage this tech and maintain some semblance of sovereignty or agency over how they use their data, how much they pay for these things, where the infrastructure is, the environmental impact of those things, if you're interested in that, and I think you should be. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, I think a few things are converging at the same time, right? And so we all probably saw Apple's announcements and Apple's movement in this space, right? I mean, these Mac Minis and the things that you can do. I mean, shout out to one of my PCs, right? He knows who he is, has built some incredible capability with a Mac Mini and just privately hosting a model and doing awesome stuff, right? And so Apple and Mac are going to continue to progress that, as are other big hardware providers. I feel like the cost of that technology is going to come down as well considerably. You might be able to run, like a trillion parameter model, in your own house doing its own thing. So that's interesting too. I can imagine a time, and this is similar sort of Microsoft's approach, right? In that you may well be leveraging harness technology, right? That maybe routes jobs from your phone, from your Mac Mini. And if you need a frontier model for something complicated, maybe it's a choice, maybe it's automated and it goes off and uses it, right? And so this sort of mix of local processing, local hardware, internet-facing frontier models. But back to the question on sovereignty, if it's about privacy, less so than it is about token economics, well, I think the definition of the word sovereign is going to change. And our friend Dan Wright from Armada, shout out to Armada, right? He went big on that, you might remember.
He did, yeah.
Right? I mean, usually when people hear the word sovereign, they think national, right? They think country sovereign. His view of the world was sovereign can be the trusted perimeter of the thing that you want for yourself, your version of sovereign, right? And so I think that's going to play out. I think the hardware is going to be better. I think we're going to see more and more use case for privately hosted models, particularly driven by token economics, and it's all happening at the same time.
That's right, all at the same time, and they've consolidated it into, well, they will be consolidating it rather into a new agency just to deal with this.
Yep.
One of the other things that's of interest and running in parallel is the copyright situation.
Yes.
And protecting Australian IP and artists and our creatives. I think there's a way through that. I think there's a way through it. There's other countries have models that seem to work and make sure that people are rewarded in the right way for their IP and their content.
Yep.
I do think it's right to pause and consider that carefully.
100%. Well,
because this is moving really quickly.
I mean, look, every organisation, right, is facing that right now, right? And so when you look at the fine print of your contract with Anthropic and with Claude, there's definitely ways to protect yourself from data retention and also ensure that your IP isn't being used to train the models. That's critical. Microsoft have got similar policy as well. It is the right conversation to have, certainly, and people need to be aware of that classic thing where, like, if you don't, I mean, we are paying for it, but maybe if you're using the free versions, if you don't pay for it, you are the product, right?
Oh, so yeah,
unwitting
absolutely.
people out there using the tools with their clever ideas, I mean, those are being harvested. Let's face it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, you got to train it on intelligence,
right? Exactly.
So, I think it's look, broadly speaking, I think it's a good thing. I do hope though that it doesn't slow us down.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly important for our economic prosperity in general that we keep up here.
Yeah.
And that we endeavor to keep up. And that is probably no surprises there. Why the research coming out of Adapt this week said that the number one priority for Australian CIOs is IT, AI adoption into every facet of IT in their business.
Okay, and so let's talk about not wanting to be slowed down and demand. And so, John, I mean, we are in the data center game. You're in the data center game in a very unique way, a novel way as well. A good mate of mine, hopefully he's watching, he spoke to me about one of the key data center providers in Australia. We're down to their last 3 megawatts of air-cooled capacity recently. And until such time as they refresh that in a couple of years' time, I might add. The last 3 megawatts, there were 14 people bidding on that.
14 companies.
14 companies bidding on the last 3 megawatts. I won't name the business that they had available, and it'll be 2 years until they have more capacity.
Yeah, the supply and demand the demand forecasts for just data center capacity to host AI
outrageous
workloads is through the roof.
Absolutely outrageous.
And it is a global marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
I think the opportunity for Australia is to capture it here.
Yes.
for lots of different reasons, but mainly it's not going away. So we do have to keep up,
Yes,
I think.
I do.
And do it in a responsible way, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But while everybody's got their eye on that shiny ball, you go back to like, where does dealing with technical debt sit on the list now?
Well, exactly right. Yeah, I mean, look,
Because you can't do it all.
You can't do it all. And I feel like we're going to see more and more press articles, unfortunately, about businesses coming afoul with this, right? It feels like the risks have increased markedly now.
Well, anybody who wants to mess with your organization can use AI to their advantage to exploit your weaknesses, and you'll have lots of them if you are carrying a lot of technical debt.
Yep.
So you got to deal with that. You got to deal with probably tipping most of your budget into keeping ahead and figuring out how to do AI in your organization, and maybe blowing it all on shadow AI tokens. I don't know.
Well, I'd love...
That's going to be the new FinOps is like, how do you not blow all your coin on tokens?
Look, I mean, I'll speak candidly. I mean, look, our business is going through now. We're lucky, right? Like within the business that I work for, I mean, we've got access to everything that we need, but good God, right? I mean, the costs can go through the roof.
Yeah, if you're not careful.
If you're not careful, right? But there are also some clever ways to manage your tokens. And I shouldn't say this probably out loud, but I can foresee a situation where those of us with teams and P&L responsibility will be given budgets on this stuff, right? And it's down to us to manage within the tokens that we've been allocated. And there are absolutely strategies for doing that, right? And we've talked about obviously local processing, should you have access to the kit, but that's not free either, right? I mean, H100s and 200s cost a fortune, right? So it's not like that's an obvious answer, but I think token economics and responsibility, like using skills, for example, right? So you don't constantly fetch and ask the same question over and over again.
So what is a CIO to do now? You like, my top priority, if I'm with the cool kids, is to be doing AI and implementing that and figuring out how to not spend too much and all the rest. But at the same time, we can't afford to go down or be hacked or be in the newspaper, and that box that's got dust on it. We've spoken about that. Do you reboot it or not? You hope it comes back. How do you deal with all of this all at the same time?
I don't know. But to our audience out there, like, let us know, right? Like, how big a priority is technical debt for you now, and do you worry about it more than you did yesterday?
I do. Like, as a critical infrastructure guy, I'm talking to customers about it. We're getting it on registers. You're coming up with remediation plans. You're having a plan. You're making an effort. But it's not the sexy thing to do.
No, it's not.
it's and it only shows up when it breaks.
Yeah.
That's the worst bit. It's all fine until it's not.
Yeah, you say to you, mate, what have you been working on lately? Oh, technical debt. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I've got to go down to the data center and unplug this old thing. And
yeah, it's making some noises, smells bad. Yeah, exactly.
And so this is what everyone's dealing with, I think. But look, I'm hopeful. I remain optimistic. We could, the industry can leverage advancements in AI to help identify some of these things.
Right.
And resolve them.
Well, I feel like there's an opportunity here out there for the clever startups. You've heard us talk about 93% of organisations have technical debt. 24% of those only feel comfortable with their plan to address it. So that feels like a business opportunity for someone.
I reckon we should ask Claude.
I think we should ask Claude.
You've probably got more tokens. You could.
Okay. I tell you what, the day they take my tokens away, I'm going to have a proper tantrum.
All right. Well, that's look, there's a bit going on there. I do. Well, what would I say to wrap it up? I've spoken before about technical debt.
Yes.
I think it should be a KPI.
I agree.
Like a board issued KPI that everybody buys into, that says there is a certain line that we draw that is an acceptable amount of technical debt.
That's right.
To carry, and we cannot ignore it.
That's right.
I think this latest incident just highlights it again. It does
highlight it, Jono. Maybe we can put it in the category of like what seemingly immovable objects, right? With technical debt, it should be a KPI, board level driven. That way it could never be just ignored and deprioritized. And constantly put on the back burner. That's one thing. We talked about native services in the same frame, you might remember, right, with our good friends at AWS, right? And so, if you embed yourself with a cloud native technology that's specific to one hyperscaler, fine. If there are existential threats to the business and you need to, say, shave the 20, 30% off your budget, how do you migrate it off that thing? It's the same thing.
It's
right?
that. So you got that sort of technical debt KPI and that agility or portability KPI.
Yep.
Right. So
Same thing.
So you can maintain agency and sovereignty over your tech.
That's right, Jono.
That drives your business.
We're here to help.
We are. We're here to help. There's I'd be interested actually to hear from our audience as to how they're dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've got our confessions page up.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a Telstra related confession.
Well, you know what we should ask? Who's got the worst technical debt? It wasn't that long ago. One of my mates said to me they saw an NT4 server kicking around the other day. You know what I mean?
I ran into some 2010 things operating in the field.
All right.
The organisation shall remain nameless.
Yeah,
but they're out there.
All right. I reckon we should get some confessions on the worst technical debt.
Give us the best ones, guys. We want to hear about technical debt. We'll talk about it. And maybe if you submit it, we might provide some advice as to how we might go about resolving it.
All right.
We're here to help.
We are here to help.
All right. Great chat, Aaron. Where can you find us? Where can our listeners find us?
Thanks for listening again. So look, you will find us everywhere you get your podcasts. That's Apple Podcasts. It could be Spotify. Of course, we are on YouTube. We're absolutely everywhere. Thank you very much to all our subscribers as well. We really care about that. John and I talk about subscribers all the time. We love them. And so thank you for subscribing is the best way to get the content. We are, of course, produced by Prue Loon. Our digital producer is Karina Aguilera, and you can reach out to us at prue@thingsreasons.show. And you can also visit the website, thingsreasons.show. It's pretty awesome. There's good things there, especially the confessions page.
Yep. Give us your best confessions. We'll read them out on the show. That's a wrap, guys.
That's a wrap.
See you again next time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for listening.